technology facilities that have been put into place to make our work much more easier for us. And we have other aspects that we do involve ourselves with in ABC here, in making sure that we meet with the demand of the Lagos State government by assisting with the revenue, making sure that the revenue is increasing year by year, and to meet the budget. That's on page 9. Page 9 of our manual. Thank you. So for us to achieve the aim of increasing the budget, for us to meet with the demand and the challenges that have been put in place for us to meet, that is increasing the budget of Lagos State government. From our hand here, we have some things that have been put into place apart from the technology know-how. We have some functions that we do perform as a consultant to Lagos State. And then looking at the activities in Lagos State, looking at the companies, the individuals that are residing in Lagos State, what we have done from our hand is that we look at the nature of business of each company, each parastatals and the organization, and also individuals. We consider what the nature of their business is, and that has taken us to the level of sectorizing all the companies in Lagos State. What do I mean by this? All the companies that are involved in the same nature of business, we categorize them under the same sector. For example, all the finance house, the banks, the insurance, the discount house, we classify them all under finance sector. All the manufacturing company, we put them under manufacturing. All the hospitals, whether private hospitals or even the general hospital, all the pharmaceutical companies, we put them under health center. So what we have done is that we have sectorized all companies according to their activities. And why have we done this? We have done this to make our job much more easier for us. So that when we look at a glance at the category of companies, easily we can generate reports and we know what their activities and their collections are so far. So all the companies in Lagos State, we have classified them. What about the individuals? We've done the same thing for them. As little earners in Lagos State, maybe petty traders, organizers, the hairdressers, because of their low income, we have also put them under informal sector. What about the managers, the directors that are big, high-placed individuals? What we have done is that we've now categorized them also under high net worth individuals, just to help us in tracing their return to Lagos State government. And from our end here, because we have been able to get so much information from companies, we have done what we call revenue monitoring. We went to companies, meet with them, get their information, get their data. All these data that we get from them, we normally put it in the system. We put it in the system, and that is what made up our server. My other colleague was showing us the server the other time. All the information we go out to get from all these taxpayers is what we now put in the server. So that when we look at the server, just at the punch of a button, we can get the information about an individual or company. So this has really helped us to have what we call electronic monitoring of tax and revenue. What do I mean by this? Because we have the information about taxpayers, we can easily go into our server, get all the information about the taxpayer with the help of our application. That's the Ebsrcm and the ePay application. When a taxpayer goes to the bank to make payment, automatically a pay ID is generated for that taxpayer. That pay ID is just like their bank account number. So any money that they are paying to Lagos State government account should enter into their own personal pay ID. And all this pay ID will now contain all the payments that has been made by a taxpayer for a period of time. So when we sit at our system in the office here, we can just check the profile of the company. We know when last they paid, what they paid for. What we can even identify, maybe it's a check or maybe it's cash that they use in making their payment. So this has really helped us to monitor the activities of taxpayer by our system. So the system, as much as the agencies are using it as as a point of dispatching information or service to taxpayer, which will also dip hand into the system to get information about taxpayers. And when we now check their profile, all their information, and we discover that they are not paying, what do we do? Because from our hand there, we are not the one that we don't collect cash, and we are not the one that will assess taxpayer. But we can as well get information about taxpayer, and we now collate it and send to LIRS for further investigation. And that takes us to the monitoring by Tama and also distribution of demand notices. After we check our system and we discover that the taxpayer are skipping, I'm talking about maybe individual or company now, they are supposed to be paying every month. And once we discover they are not remitting, we compile their list. We send it to their corporate portals. Those of our unit that are in Land Bureau, Tama, and they also LASEPA, they make use of demand notices in contacting the taxpayers. This demand notice is just like a letter sent to taxpayer telling them that, okay, we've checked our system, we checked our record, you are owing the government so and so amount. We send it to them, encouraging them to pay. For those of us that are not making use of demand notice, we use SMS. We contact our taxpayer by SMS. And that SMS is not done through our phone. It's done through the system. That's the application that has been put into place. That's the Ebsrcm. We have the ePay application there. So we normally make use of the ePay application, sending SMS to taxpayer. You wonder how do we get this SMS across to them? Remember I said that we have had one-on-one contact with our representative, that's maybe the accountant or the person in charge of their tax payment. So when we are interacting with them, we do get their phone numbers. We get their email address. And when we are updating our system, we input it in the system. So once we discover that they are owing, what we just do is we run a query on ePay application and we send SMS to them, telling them, your company is owing from September to October. Please go and pay. And some taxpayers, after getting this SMS, they do call us back because there is a number that will be attached to it. You that you are sending the message, you put your phone number there. So when they call us, some of them will just give us the impression that, oh, we are about to raise a check, you know. Please give them the awareness that somebody is watching them. So weekly we have gotten response from our taxpayer telling us that, oh, madam, we are sorry. Next week we are going to pay. But as much as they are making promise, we try to put it down. By next week we go back to our system and check if the money has dropped. If it has not dropped, we send them another text message. And also, the email address we collect from them, how do we make use of this email address? When we discover that, even those people that are paying up to date, or those people that are defaulting, we make use of what we call customer remittance statement, just like your bank statement with the bank. We run it on our ePay, and we now attach it as a mail to the email address that have been given to us, telling them that they should please reconcile this statement with all the receipts that they have with them. You know, at the point of payment, it's expected that they get the receipt. I will still talk more on that. So we now encourage them to reconcile, do the reconciliation from their own end. I'm talking about company or even individual. We run the customer statement from our application. We attach it as a mail to them that they should now reconcile whatever they have in their receipt. If there is any discrepancy, they can call us. So people have been calling and some have been sending us mails telling us that, okay, maybe they made payment last year, is not appearing on that statement we send to them. Some will just even tell us, okay, we have the receipt, but we don't. We have the teller, but we don't have the receipt for this payment we are looking at in the statement. So we have been able to resolve that among us, trying to reconcile and make sure that their accounts are put straight. And also from our end here, we have what we call watch list. This watch list is not to the taxpayer now. We prepare this watch list on a weekly basis, and the watch list is being sent to LIRS. What do we do with this watch list? We look at the activities of each taxpayers, individuals and company. We now check what they are owing, what they have paid so far. If they paid 10,000 naira for this year, and we discover that for this year that 10,000 naira is meant for just 5 months, what we just do is we now calculate the outstanding months, what they should have paid for the remaining 3 months or 4 months up to date. We now calculate and send it to LRS with the name, the pay ID, and also the address of that company or individual. We send it to LRS for further investigation. This was